Hello and welcome back to the J&Z podcast. And today we have a very special guest, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Give him a
that's
hand,
me.
everyone.
Yeah, I don't play soccer. I play football. So I mean, same
He-
same thing, honestly.
Are you a linebacker?
No, I play defensive tackle.
Oh wow,
He's in
you're
the
so
concussion
cool.
zone there, yeah.
Yeah, I get like multiple concussions a day. I see like sound and stuff. So I mean, it's pretty cool playing football, but that's not why we're here, right?
No. With his ability to see sounds and hear color, I think he had a very different experience watching the movie we're talking about today, that being the Barbie movie. And I think we all have different opinions on it, which is pretty cool. Um, to start, uh, the movie to me was if you were ever in the theater, you didn't get spoiled, and you guys saw Avengers Infinity War, and then right at the end when he went, you should have gone for the head, and he snapped his fingers and the movie ended, and everybody was just stunned. That is exactly the same feeling when I was done watching this movie. The exact same. Just sitting there, just wondering what just happened. And but yeah, it was pretty all right though. Uh, Very confusing movie for me, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. What do you think, Zeth? Um, what was your experience just overall before we get into the nitty gritty here?
Okay, so I didn't really want to do this episode because it's a Barbie movie. I mean, it's a movie that's not meant for or not made for me, obviously. But at the same time, I wanted to support it because it's Mattel. They're doing the Hot Wheels movie, so I'm like, all right, maybe if this does good, we'll be guaranteed that Hot Wheels movie. But then you made me to go. You're like, Zeth, this is going to be Oscar nominated material here. We are going to go see Barbie and we are going to review it on our channel. So I'm like, all right. I went day one. All of us saw it at like different times. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll see it day one. That way this weekend we can get it out. And you're like, oh, I'm not seeing it till Wednesday. I
Well,
went
yeah, I
to
had to
that
go with my
theater.
friends.
I went
You
to that
know,
theater and I sat near the back. I was the only man in that theater.
I find that hard to believe. I'm sure plenty of girlfriends drag their boyfriends along.
Yeah, I bet. I remember I saw this meme where it was like how a girlfriend broke up a date with the boyfriend for not wearing pink. So I don't
Dang,
know, man. I'm
that's
pretty
tough.
sure some people have to have like people to bring. So I don't know if you're the only male there. I still kind of doubt that, but
I
I'll
don't
go
know.
off what you say.
There's people that like dressed up like a bunch of the girls that were
Oh
walking in.
yeah,
They were like dressed up in like their little frou frou outfits.
Oh yeah,
But
the
I mean, for
movie sure
me,
made them feel silly.
the movie was not for me. That's like the best I can say. And I have issues mostly with like the pacing and how it's edited mostly, and a few things with the script. It's got nothing to do with it being about women or the messages that are even in the film. Uh, Part of that part of the movie that's just not for me, and that I can chalk that up to. But I have more issues with just the pacing and the script itself, particularly in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Mine was more the end, but Christian, what was your general thought of the movie? Um,
yeah. I mean, I had a good time. I went with the big group, so we all had a good jolly old time. Watching the Barbie movie, and I do kind of have to agree with Zeth. I mean, I'm a dude. You know, some of that stuff is not really for me, and I kind of expected that coming into it because it's a movie about Barbie. So I mean, I knew it wasn't for me, but overall, I really did enjoy my time there. I had a good laugh. I thought most of the jokes were pretty funny. I do like my favorite like part of like the editing was like the narration that they did. Just like every now and then it would be a funny narration. I really did enjoy that, and overall, I just had a really good time with the movie.
Hmm.
yeah, the narration was all right. um, Threw in a quick joke once in a while, that I did appreciate. That actually, I didn't actually think about that till now. So that's something I just
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah, I actually kind of like that part. But overall, the movie itself, it was kind of a weird, just amalgamation of just a bunch of things. Like it almost didn't have a plot. It did,
Mm-hmm.
But like the first bit, which was probably the best part, it starts off with like a 2001 A Space Odyssey reference, which
Oh yeah,
did not see that coming, but I'm not mad at it. And just overall, I thought the movie itself was fun, but it could get a little bit caught up on certain things, and the pacing might have suffered because of it a good bit. Particularly the ending kind of dragged out. I feel a bit longer than it probably should have.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there was Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling did a great job, kind of uh, laying out the jokes. They kept every time they were on screen, it was pretty decent. Especially Ryan Gosling, he was just hilarious. Best part of the movie, hands down. But um, yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
and then
Go ahead.
I definitely agree with you. The performances are good. There's nothing wrong with the performances here. Um, Ryan Gosling as Ken, he's acting stupid when he needs to be stupid, or he's acting funny when he needs to be funny, or chasing after Barbie. Uh, and same thing with Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's acting, kind of ditzy, but also kind of uh, smart, and she's acting like a typical Barbie blonde. What you would think almost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my problems from the movie stem right in the middle when they go to the real world. I was having actually a pretty fun time with the movie when it was sticking mostly to the Barbie land in the beginning, because they were making fun of some of the tropes with like girls playing with their Barbie dolls. Like, oh, Margot Robbie's character floats down from her house, because in real life, little girls, when they play with their Barbie dolls, they don't make them walk. They put them from one place to another place. Like there's some smart stuff there. So I was thinking this movie is going to be kind of like a Lego movie almost, and I was actually like ready for this to be a fun time. But the minute they go to the real world, it just got into this tangled plot of the Mattel employees and Will Ferrell's character, and you have that mother character with her daughter character, who really aren't the best characters in my opinion.
Yeah, the Mattel people did nothing.
yeah.
Like they could have been out of the movie entirely and nothing would have changed.
I feel like for me they were like a little too cartoonish. If you got trying to get what I'm saying, they just kind of, especially like with that one scene where they just like followed each other around that office and
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
kept running into each other and doing a bunch of cartoony stuff. I didn't really like that. That was probably one of the least favorite parts of my movie. Like least favorite parts for me was how cartoonish it got, especially during the middle.
Yeah, I'm with you, Christian. If that would have been like that chase sequence happened in Barbie Land, that would have made more sense. That would have been like, hey, this is the hyper exaggerated chase scene in Barbie Land. But when it was in the real world and it already set the real world rules, like, they go into like a clothing store and they steal clothes and they run away, they get arrested. But then the Mattel employees are acting really cartoony and not like they would in a real world. And it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't mesh well. So I'm with you there, Christian.
Yeah,
Um, I agree, and like I said, I'm not like a huge fan of that part either. But thankfully, at the same time, we were blessed with Ryan Gosling's Ken. You know, just getting all the let's walking into the gym and he sees the horses and like the muscles. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. He just fell down the pipeline just like that. I
mm-hmm.
really truly think that um pretty much like I said, every scene that he's in, he kind of just steals the show because he just
Mm-hmm.
knows how to put on like the way he just acts like a doll, basically, like a human doll, essentially. Like he just is dumb. He just he just I think he did the absolute best job bringing kind of that character to life. And it's like watching a newborn basically, but it's a grown man with abs, and it's just so funny. Pretty much every time he shows up, just the way he talks in general, he added so much to this movie, and I don't think it would have been the same without him and all the other Kens, honestly.
No, he really elevated the movie from like probably a pretty like I said, the movie's not for me, so I don't want to say it's completely bad, but at the same time, since I didn't like it, it's probably one of my least favorite movies of the year. So he made the movie from being like one of the least favorite movies to just being okay. Like he made some of the scenes more tolerable than what they were.
Yeah, I kind of get that because like I really love the acting from both Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. You know, I just every time either of them were on, it was just a fun time. And my favorite scene, which was the beach off scene that they had near the end,
Mm-hmm.
that scene for me was just the funniest thing ever to me because like
Cuts to a boy band
I
ditty
didn't know what was
number.
happening.
dude, that for me was probably the best part. You like it was all like it kind of like referenced like Normandy, like storming the beach, and then not too long after they cut to like a dance scene and they're dancing number, and you know that being in Barbie Land, which is obviously the more cartoonish part of the movie. I really enjoyed having that because it was just like so funny to see them go from war to having a dance scene.
They're just having their moment there. Yeah, that was pretty solid. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
solid. I just feel like the biggest blunder that this movie kind of makes isn't the message, but it's how they present it. Like like the way they're able to do it somewhat metaphorically sometimes, which kind of works out, or they're self-aware of it. But sometimes they push the self-awareness too much to like you ever watch like a comedian on stage, but instead of telling jokes, they just kind of like preach about things, and you just kind of like get caught, like you just kind of get caught off guard by it's like you're kind of waiting for them to tell the joke, but it just isn't coming off as that funny and more just a message. It's kind of like that
I
sometimes.
mean, we're 21-year-old guys reviewing a movie that's meant for, you know, women mostly.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't have like a clever way of telling the message in a comedy movie.
Yeah. I guess my main issue and gripe with the movie is since it's a Barbie movie, if someone didn't necessarily do their research on this movie, this is not a movie made for kids at all. It's got a lot of adult jokes and it's got a lot of just adult innuendos. I mean, and I guess that's fine, but for something that's labeled as the Barbie movie, like the definitive, hey, this is your childhood toy come to life on the big screen, you know, I couldn't imagine what some parents are thinking in the theater taking their kids to this movie. That's my only problem with the movie. That's my big
Honestly,
glaring issue with the movie.
I know what you're saying, but again, at this point, it's on them. Like you have you. I don't know why parents keep bringing their kids to movie theaters and just not looking at what things are rated. It's not a given. It's just not. Like it is rated PG-13, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's like, man, you kind of gotta parent them instead of just sending them on their way and then getting surprised when a PG-13 movie makes PG-13 jokes.
yeah, and it kind of goes like the same thing with like YouTube and stuff, and that's like a whole different topic, you know, because
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
people got to do their research on what they're gonna watch. Because even though I'm not the target audience, you know, I still had a good time with the adult jokes. I had a laugh, you know, but you know, it's something that parents got to parent. You know, you can't just you can't just take them anywhere. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
no, I understand. But like I said, my main qualm with the movie is just that middle part. If it would have maybe had the entire movie take place in Barbie Land, and I understand that the budget for the movie was actually really big, so you probably would be playing around with like a $300 million movie at that point because it's already 150,
They could
I
have cut Will
believe.
Ferrell and saved half that, but
Exactly. Like you can cut all the stuff with Mattel in this movie
Mhm.
and the movie can still make sense. That's the sad thing about this movie. Everything with the Mattel and Will Ferrell and all those characters, you can cut all of that out of the movie and it doesn't affect this one bit. The mom and the daughter character, you're playing with a little bit of hot water there if you cut them, but you can cut everything out with Mattel and the movie still makes sense.
I mean, without the mother and daughter, there's no plot. But that's not that far from
That's
what
what I
we
was
got
saying.
either. So I don't know. It's man, it's just a confusing movie. I enjoyed a lot of the jokes. I thought they were genuinely funny. But then every once in a while, they'll just get like caught up on something, and or they'll drag out a concept way too long, and you're just kind of waiting for it to be done, or for Ryan Gosling to show up, and it just at that point, it it kind of takes something. It takes something away from it. It could be more subtle in ways that, in lieu of making it funnier, basically.
Yeah,
But I
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah. Christian?
well, I was just about to say like the way I saw it personally was like it like when some of the topics they were talking about, especially with like patriarchy and all that stuff. The way that I saw it was that they did it so much was that it almost felt like it was making fun of people that complain about it. I don't know if you guys got that vibe, but to me, like they did it so much, and not only did they show the real world side and how people think we like portray the world and stuff, but also like the Ken how they felt too. So
I actually kind
I
of liked the Ken part about how
yeah
it's kind
and
of their parallel to whatever our world.
yeah and
I
that's what I
didn't.
was trying to say. Just because it's like it feels like it's for me at least it feels like it's kind of even. And again, I don't mind the women empowerment because it is a movie about Barbie. So
Yeah.
I expected that, and if you didn't expect that, then you kind of an idiot. But I enjoyed what they were trying to say because it's something that it's an interesting thing to think about. But
Yeah, and there's
I,
nothing wrong with that. It's like a lot of people that were complaining about when Princess Peach was kind of like a go-getter in the Mario movie. It's like, really?
It
It's like
wasn't.
that's what you're
Yeah.
going to complain about? I-
yeah, and
The things that are just like I said, it's not the message and it's not the fact that it's a movie made for women. It's mostly for me just that middle part really dragged the movie down really hard. The writing was just a bit all over the place. And it was kind of weird too. Like its style was kind of all over the place as well. And I understand that was probably a very big choice to have like the real world kind of look uh boring and drabby compared to Barbie Land or anytime there was something going on with Barbie Land. That's a very specific choice. That being said, there's weird choices too, like when they're in the Mattel place and they come across like the creator of Barbie and it starts to become a little more surreal, and then it becomes surreal too at the end once Barbie decides to become a human. There's just some weird choices in there that doesn't mesh with the entire movie in my opinion. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I get that because it does feel like it's all over the place, especially at certain points of the movie, and I do kind of wish it was like I think you said like if it was all in Barbie Land, I think it would have been a lot better. And something that I thought of recently was like I kind of wish the Mattel that whole group was more like really serious instead of like overly cartoony. I thought that would have been pretty funny if they were like overly serious about
Yeah. The
Barbies
more, quite
invading the
literally,
world.
just have Will Ferrell be the dad in the Lego Movie again, and it works
Yeah,
out great. That whole concept, it just kind of works, and I
I
feel
mean,
like that just, I don't know. You got a really good
yeah,
point there, though.
yeah. I mean, I think it would have been funny if that was just like all they were was overly serious because if you think about it, they're being overly serious about Barbies in the real world, which I thought would have been pretty funny instead of the
Yeah, they could have
overly
played like
cartoony.
on some of the concepts of like Barbie collectors and stuff like that. Like I don't know, like I'm just spitballing here, but like kind of like how the Lego movie, like Jay said, where it played on the concept of a collector and like someone taking Lego super serious. You could have had someone like that where it's like someone who collects Barbie dolls and takes Barbie like super serious.
I don't know. I don't think it works quite as well though, only for the fact that it is the Barbie movie, because no one's mad at Lego. No one's saying Lego propped up false body standards and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Like nobody's out here being like, I wish I was built like a minifigure. Just you know.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to have their like atonement moment. So that was kind of what they did at the end there. And it was fine.
That was the one joke that got me laughing. Like Barbie in the middle of the movie, she's going through like her little crisis, and she's like, "I don't feel very pretty." And then all of a sudden, the narrator comes in, and she's like, "This is a bad thing to say if you cast Margot Robbie as your lead. I was like, okay, that's kind of clever.
Yeah, I enjoyed that joke too.
Yeah. There's things to like about this movie and there's things to not like. I mean, we're guys. I mean, I'm sure if there was a group of women, I'm sure they're over the moon about this movie. But just
Well, I
oh
don't know.
what'd you guys? I know you guys went with
I got
groups.
the
So what
I
was your
Yeah,
I
experiences?
got the impression from them that it was just kind of fine cuz again, it's not like just because you agree with the message doesn't mean you always agree with the delivery. Like some parts of it can just be a bit much. Like obviously the movie's not trying to convert people, right? It is made for that audience. So like the speech at the end about like, all the issues that they go through, that was going to be part of the movie and it's fine or whatever. But the
Yeah, great acted
execution of
moment.
it, like I said,
yeah,
they're not trying to change people's minds, but when they repeat half the speech every single time they go up to another Barbie, like that's just then it just kind of gets to a point where it's like, oh, okay, like, it's just a really long speech, and you're just saying it over and over a lot,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
it's
and
not the message. It could be talking about literally anything, and it's just not that great of a way to present it, personally.
yeah, and like I went with a group too, and it had both males and females. But I think the overall vibe was just like, we went as a group, we had a good time. This was fun,
Mm-hmm.
we made jokes and repeated some of the jokes that we heard from the movie, and I think overall the way that I like the I guess the mood that I got from both, at least my group, was that it was a fun movie. Is it the best movie? No, obviously not. But it's a fun movie to watch. With the group of friends probably, and laugh at some of the jokes, and just make memes about it too. It's just overall, it was a fun watch in my opinion.
Yep. When the jokes landed, they landed. When they didn't, they didn't. But there are far worse movies out there. And
Oh
every
yeah,
single positive that we just listed, they were originally going to cast Amy Schumer to be Barbie instead of Margot Robbie.
I saw
And it
that. I
could
was
be
like,
so much
oh
worse
yeah.
right now.
what?
That would have been crazy. This
I
would be
don't
a
even know
very
if
different video.
yeah, I mean the actors I think were casted just about perfect from all the Barbies to all the Kens. I think they all did a really good job, especially in the aforementioned beach off scene.
Hmm.
I love that scene so much. And then also the beginning where they had like the girls' night out, or I don't know what it was, but the one where they were all dancing to was also a really good scene that I enjoyed.
It was a good setup, yeah. But
Yeah. I'm sure I would have enjoyed it a little more like you guys if I went with the group, but I was just like sitting there in the theater, like
absolutely.
I'm just like, all right, one for the Barbie movie, please. And I'm literally the only guy in the theater sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, what have I gotten myself into?
Did you at least wear like a all pink outfit or
No, I wore, just
like an unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt?
I wore my regular fit. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, the group that I went, they dressed up. I didn't get the message that
Same.
we were supposed to, so I didn't dress up. I just kind of wore my Jordans and my
I came to the
Under Armour
realization
shirt.
that my normal going out outfit matched this movie a little too well, so I'll be changing that here shortly. But overall,
Mm-hmm.
it was a good time going with the group, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I'm sure like any movie can be any movie. You go with a friend like Jace, you and me, we went to Hobbs and Shaw. Dumbest movie of all time,
Okay,
but
that
we
one is
still had a great time watching that movie.
yeah.
and I think for me, in my overall opinion on critiquing movies, is if you go there with the reason, like if you're going there just to like hate on it, then obviously you're gonna not like it. But
Mm.
going with a group of people that are fun, I think it elevates your opinion on the movie, and overall, it just is a more fun experience to watch a movie with friends than it is to watch alone, like you did.
No, yeah, and I mean I didn't like I said, I didn't go into the movie. I went into the movie
Yeah,
thinking,
no,
okay, this possibly won't be for me. And I was enjoying that beginning, but it just kind of dragged in the middle
yeah.
and just
I'm
was a
not, I'm
bit
not. I'm not
boring.
saying that you tried to hate on the movie. I'm just saying, I think the way that the media portrays the Barbie movie, everybody just feels like everybody's just hating on it.
That is
And I
the
think,
opposite of true.
well, at
So,
least at least from what I know, my timeline is probably different from yours, but the things that I see, people just hate on it because it's like a people see it as like a political message, anti
oh
men,
yeah, but
And
Yeah,
I feel like
it's on track to make $1 billion.
Yeah, and I think it's a fun movie to watch. I think it's a good movie to watch with friends, and I think you should go to the movie probably with a friend, maybe dress up, and I think you'll have a fun time with the movie.
Should you go to the theaters for this movie? I'm gonna
No.
say no. It's not a theatrical movie, in my opinion. This is,
No.
I mean, it's got a
If I paid
theatrical.
IMAX for this, I don't know if I would have been super pleased. I'm just
I
saying.
don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's just one of those movies that you have to watch with like a group of friends, just like at home as like a movie night, as a fun time.
Yeah. Would you have more fun if it wasn't in the theater? Like if we just all went to Quinn's house and we're like, all right, dress up for the Barbie movie or
I
whatever.
don't think we would have got halfway through if we did that, but
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, you just gotta have fun with it.
we'd never go to Quinn's house again.
Yeah, I mean, again, they all dressed up. I didn't. I didn't know we were supposed to dress up, but you know, they seemed like they had a good time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys didn't dress up for the Mario movie. I remember that.
yeah,
Except
sure
for you,
didn't.
you had a mustache at the time, so I mean that counts.
I mean, yeah, I usually don't get the message when we're supposed to dress up for things, so I just come with like my Chiefs jersey or my Jordans, just something stupid. And
I can imagine everybody else in your group dressing up, and you're just there
Dude,
wearing your
yeah.
Chiefs.
I was literally just like in a pair of Jordans and my sweatpants and a shirt. That's how I went, and everybody else was like, the flannel, like not flannel, but like button down shirt, pink.
Oh, I saw the
shorts.
picture.
Oh yeah, it was just everybody
It's
else dressed
bad.
up except for me, and I was like, I should have dressed
Dang.
up. I was, but
Well,
I
someone
got.
had to take the picture.
Oh yeah, somebody random from the theater took the picture, so
Okay.
I was in it. You couldn't see what I was wearing though. You can see my Jordans, but that's
Jace,
about
I
it.
saw the picture that you guys took. Who took your photo?
I could not tell you. I didn't know I was in a photo.
Yeah. Dude, my dad, when we went to go see Mario, he was taking like mug shots of all of us.
Yeah, and I remember one day, like randomly in school, he sent me the mugshots, and I was like, "Who's this?" And then I was so confused, but it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's
Just
awesome.
Random day.
So the Barbie movie.
No, that's been played out already. It's already almost made $1
okay.
billion. So, I think here's about as good a place as any to wrap up though. I hope Mattel has atoned for their sins and will be replacing with their new line of Barbies. I am assuming it'll be very successful. Hey, good job. It wasn't for me, but maybe I'll pick up a Barbie. Maybe if I'm feeling feeling good, feeling myself. Just
What are you talking about?
just feeling. Yeah,
Christian?
He's more of an Alan than he is a Ken. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Yes,
I
he
loved
is.
Michael Cera's Alan. I forgot about that. He was so funny. But that's for the bonus Patreon episode that we don't have.
The
So
bonus Patreon. That's crazy.
either way, we don't have a Patreon. So if anybody actually says we do not. It's a scam. We'll let you know. But all right, thanks again for joining us, Christian.
Yeah, bro.
I hope we had a
anytime.
good
This was fun.
episode. This is fun. So, all right, talk to you guys later. Have a good night.